your friend by your bedside. The latest hits and the greatest memories. Information, news, sport, music and entertainment, requests and dedications. 99.5 FM.
A pleasant good morning and welcome to Newsnet on OK FM 99.5. Newsnet is a production of the News and Current Affairs Department at OK Communications Incorporated. Today it's Thursday, the 31st day of May 2018. My name is Augustine Kollie, your other top stories. Phase 1 of traffic-prone Somalia road dedicated, President Weah launches construction of Phase 2, pledging to name the road Japan Highway in recognition of Japanese support to its development. Thorns hawking throats over misuse of Rivers County social development money. Officials divided over how it was used. Others seek clarity over whether it actually went to Joseph Boakar's failed presidential bid. For carrying Juju Man on campus, students of Phoebe Community Lutheran High School in Swakopmund County staged protest to demand change of administration. And away from Liberia, a youth group is planning to disrupt the event to erect a statue in commemoration of the 1-year anniversary of the death of Major Mahama in Ghana. The news bulletin, the voices of those behind the news. Your comments are all packaged. We're taking a very short break to be right back. Thanks for rejoining us. Let's now join Olive Stevenson to bring us the news bulletin. Good morning, Olive.
Good morning, Augustine. Good morning, everyone. President George Weah has officially dedicated Phase 1 of the construction of the Somalia Drive to Red Light Highway. The 13.2-kilometer road project got underway during the regime of former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf by a grant from the Japanese government. President Weah used the occasion to hail the Japanese government for the gesture and bilateral relationship between the two countries. The Liberian leader described the pavement of Phase 1 as the end to the long-standing deplorable condition of the road. He added that the road pavement will ease traffic congestion and allow people to freely commute from one end to another. President Weah added that the pavement of the first phase amounts to $50 million United States dollars, while the second phase is estimated at $45 million US dollars. He maintained that when completed, the road will be named as Japan Highway as a sign of recognition for their contributions to Liberia. The government of Liberia and the African Governance Initiative have signed a memorandum of understanding for capacity building and technical support initiative to Liberia. African Governance Initiative is a global governmental technical support and capacity building initiative headed by former British Prime Minister Tony Blair. The MOU provides opportunity for the African Governance Initiative to work with the government through the President Delivery Unit to ensure capacity building and provide sustainable support to enable enhancement and achievement of its programs in the country. During the signing ceremony held at his Foreign Affairs Office Wednesday, President George Weah welcomed the AG program and expressed government willingness towards the initiative. A looming tension is said to be breeding in Rivers County over the alleged misappropriation of the county's social development fund, with citizens at each other's throats. Recently, the county former superintendent Zoga Daniels alleged that the $18,000 United States dollars was extracted from the county's covers to fund the campaign of the Unity Party during the 2017 elections. Another $15,000 United States dollars, according to Senator Dallas Gower, funded the medical bills of an ailing Rivers citizen. Amidst the prevailing situation in Rivers County, An eminent citizen, Andrew Peter, has called for a forensic audit of the funds. Peter told OKFM Afternoon Conversation that the county social development fund was allegedly looted, with only $200 left in the coffers for the new administration. But Senator Dallas Gower, in a telephone conversation on the program, vowed not to dignify the accession of his kinsman. Senator Gower, who sounded harsh in his response, refuted being linked to the allegation. The opposition Unity Party, Riverside's branch, has given a 24-hour ultimatum to Elijah Kessinen, head of the County Project Management Committee, to clarify issues surrounding the county money or face legal action. The UP ultimatum is in reaction to an allegation made by former Superintendent Zoga Daniels that the amount of $18,000 was taken from the county coffers to support the presidential bid of Joseph Boakai. Speaking to our correspondent in the county, the Unity Party Riverside's chairman Sano Jala said Mr. Kessinen is well placed to explain the sticky issues surrounding the superintendent's allegation. He added that the allegation is a smear campaign by the former superintendent to create a dark cloud over the image of the Unity Party, and such clarity is needed. OKFM Riverside County correspondent Aaron Jesus stated that the UP chairman Sano Johnson has threatened a lawsuit against the county project management head if he fails to provide clarity on the matter. Students of Phoebe Community Lutheran High School in Swakopmund County continued their protest action on Wednesday in demand of administrative change. The students who locked the fence of the school early Tuesday morning said their action is based on several factors, including the entry of a native doctor into the school compound to perform a traditional charm. According to reports, the administration of the Phoebe Community School, headed by Principal John Kollie, hired a traditional herbalist to perform the action on the campus since February this year in pursuit of exposing suspects who allegedly stole 20 pieces of laptops from their lab. The report added that since the activities were performed in the name of finding the criminals without the consent of the students' leadership, the students have accused the school authorities of breaching the principles of the Lutheran Church school system in inviting what they call juju men on the institution's compound. The Student Council President Stanley Semwe said their action will remain in force until the item buried in the compound is dug out for the safety of the students. In their protest action, the students are calling on the school's principal to relinquish power and that the Lutheran Church school system ensures that a new breed of administrators are employed. Meanwhile, the school's principal, John Kollie, admits that they hired a native doctor to perform the work on the campus, but said their action was not intended to witch hunt students or maintain their positions as administrators, but to have the criminals penalized. Albon County correspondent Melvin Stewart said the students pledged to continue their action until the native doctor is rehired to remove the items from the school campus. The Liberian Senate Secretariat has released the names of 16 Senate bills pending before the House of Representatives for concurrence. According to a Senate release issued Wednesday, some of the bills currently before the House of Representatives for concurrence include a bill to ratify the concession agreement between the Republic of Liberia and the Liberian Cocoa Corporation. The two bills were sponsored by the executive and passed into law by the Liberian Senate in September and October 2014, respectively. Other bills pending concurrence are the Affirmative Action for Equitable Participation and Representative Act of 2016, the Presidential Transition Act of 2017, and the Act creating the Weswa Chiefdom and Tapuama clan for the governance of same within Bapulu County. These acts were sponsored by former Bon County Senator Jewel Howard Taylor, River G County Senator Commoner Wiese, and Senator Don landing in 10 of Bapolo County. According to the release, the Liberian Senate Secretariat has also named the bill to require confirmation of all presidential nominee, an act which determines the status of political parties, organizations, and independent candidates which fail to attain a minimum percentage of votes in election, as well as a bill creating Bongbaya Administrative District for the governance of same in Bapolo County, amongst others, are still pending the concurrence by the House. The bills were sponsored by Sino County Senator Milton Teje, Grand Cape Mount County Senator Vanis Sherman, and former Pro Tem Amanjala of Bapolo County. The superintendent of the Monrovia Consolidated School System, Adolphus Jacobs, has challenged the General Auditing Commission report that discovered ghost names on MCSS payroll. Speaking to OK News on Wednesday, the superintendent outlined several factors that led to the disagreement with the report. According to him, the GSC report has lapses in it which MCSS should not be held responsible for. Superintendent Jacobs added that GSC report also stated that a lady in the entity has been paid for 26 months, which was not also true after further clarifications were made during the Public Account Committee hearing on Capitol Hill. Superintendent Jacobs also clarified that the 6,000 teachers will be recruited from Nigeria was misinterpreted by many Liberians. He said it is only about addressing the capacity gaps by training teachers that are already in the classroom and also train those who are willing to be trained to beef up the system. South African ambassador to Liberia, Nata Safubu, has arrived in Northern Liberia and is holding talks with officials of Lofa County on how to improve development in the county. According to report, the South African ambassador's visit is also meant to establish problems affecting the people of Lofa so as to find an amicable solution. Our correspondent in the county said Ambassador Sifuba has meanwhile identified deforestation as something that governments should give key attention to in order to avoid future environmental problems. Our reporter Johnson Nipula quotes the ambassador as saying that his country will continue to provide empowerment to the people of Liberia. The national chairman of the Patriotic Entrepreneurs of Liberia has disclosed that the executive order passed by the president to drop the penalty on containers and pay custom duties in Liberian dollars have been undermined. Speaking during a press conference, the head of Patel, Dominic Nimlin, told reporters that APM Terminals has refused to live up to the president's mandate. Dominic Nimlin complained that it is not the first time that the APM Terminals is defying the orders from government, noting that they also refused to comply with the past government to employ Liberians by 50% in the first 5 years. It can be recalled that APM Terminals was instructed by the Labor Minister to reinstate the 17 individuals that were downsized, but they have not complied up to present. At the same time, Patel Head is calling on the Liberian customs to use the GATT system that is widely used around the world and graduate from using the 1957 Act. Former Finance Minister Nathaniel Bound says the Wiyatele administration is in the process of transition from politics to leadership. According to him, the new administration headed by President Weah is not yet mature in handling leadership issues of government. He told the station that the CDC-led government is in its embryonic stage of governance, adding that a bit of time is required to allow them grow in leadership. Dr. Bounds, a former member of the Coalition for Democratic Change, comes amidst criticism from political pundits against the Weah administration on some missteps in the governance of the country. And the Liberia Commodity Regulatory Authority is expected to launch its Agriculture Day on Saturday, June 2nd in Gwembasa County. According to LAGRA's Deputy Director, Musa Conan, the launch of LAGRA's Day is intended to motivate farmers to invest mostly in the agriculture sector in the country. Musa Conan added that the launch will also focus on enhancing agricultural productivity, which includes planting of short-term crops that will be collected from farmers for export in Liberia. The Liberia officials said the institution will carry on its routine visitation every Friday to all government agriculture facilities in various counties. Meanwhile, the Liberia Deputy Director has reaffirmed the entity's commitment to regulating commodities that are intended to be sold properly on the Liberian market. That's the shift of the news bulletin. Is back to you, Augustine Kollie.
Olive Stevenson with the news bulletin. Indeed, Olive returns at 6:45 with the international developments. You're listening to Newsnet. 45 minutes of news about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of our one world. This newscast is relayed on the voice of Hope and Playboy, Maryland counties. Here are the stories we are closely following. Phase 1 of the traffic-prone Somalia road dedicated, President Weah launches construction of Phase 2, pledging to name the road Japan Highway in recognition of Japanese support to its development. Thorns hawking throats over misuse of Rivers County social development money. Officials divided over how it was used. Others seek clarity over whether it actually went to Joseph Boakar's failed presidential bid. For Karen Jujuman on campus, students of Phoebe Community Lutheran High School in Swakoko, Bong County staged protest to demand change of administration. And a youth group is planning to disrupt the event to erect a statue in commemoration of the one-year anniversary of the death of Major Mahama in Ghana. Stay tuned when we come back. We'll bring you the news in detail. Thanks for rejoining us. President George Weah has officially dedicated Phase 1 of the construction of the Somalia Drive to Raillight Highway. The 13.2-kilometer road project got underway during the regime of former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf by a grant from the Japanese government. President Weah used the occasion to hail the Japanese government for the gesture and bilateral relationship between the two countries.
We are aware Somalia Drive, commonly known as the freeway, is a major transport artery that constitutes the northern half of the ring road that surrounds our capital city. This 13.2-kilometer road is also the main link between the free port of Monrovia and the entire country outside of Monrovia. It provides access to the hundreds of thousands of people who live in the estate on this side of the town. Therefore, the completion of this phase of the project is expected to ease traffic congestion and bring new efficiency to the trade and commerce, and bring improvement to the quality of life of those of our citizens who no longer have to spend so many hours in traffic congestion. This project would not have been possible without the generous assistance and cooperation of the government of Japan, to whom we owe a tremendous debt of gratitude. I also want to express my appreciation to the ambassador of Japan, Sutomo, my friend, to Liberia, His Excellency Sutomo Emeno, and his predecessor, as well as to the Dai Nippon Construction Company who built the road. On behalf of the people of Liberia, we want to thank NICA. We want to say thanks to the Japan government and people for this kind gesture of friendship. We will remain engaged with Japan with the intention of further strengthening the long-standing bilateral relationships which already exist between our two countries. I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge the foresight and efforts of my predecessor, Her Excellency Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, who initiated this project, and we will continue to build on what you started. Before I close, let me say that I'm made to understand that this is just the first phase of this project, which has cost around $50 million. The The second phase, which entails the reconstruction of the present two existing lane, is estimated to cost $45 million. When the total project is completed, I understand that there is a requirement to rename this roadway as Japan Freeway. I look forward to the day this project will be completed. I say to you, Ambassador Sutumo, arigato, and Tomika, viva Japan, viva Liberia.
President George Weah officially dedicating phase 1 of the construction of the Somalia Draft Rail Light Highway. The government of Liberia and the African Governance Initiative have signed a memorandum of understanding for capacity building and technical support initiative to Liberia. African Governance Initiative is a global governmental technical support and capacity building initiative headed by former British Prime Minister Tony Blair. The MOU provides opportunity for the African Governance Initiative to work with the government through the President Delivery Unit to ensure capacity building and provide sustainable support to the enable achieving of its programs in the country. Though in a signing ceremony held at President Weah's Foreign Affairs Office on Wednesday, the Liberian leader welcomed the AGR programs and expressed government's willingness towards the initiative.
We have the opportunity. It can slip away anytime. And the only way it can slip away if you don't work. Yeah. Just out of the incident that you told me, George, I just want to advise you. When I become Prime Minister, the first year I thought just going, talking was the best thing until I realized that, wow, I spent 1 year of my time doing things that are not necessary. So I must now focus and do what is necessary. So let us keep focused. You know, we have 6 years, but the first and the second year should be the best time if we want to stay the game. And we'll listen to him. If it's not working, change your strategy. So that means if the procurement process will be an issue, if the tenure will be an issue, then we need to amend the laws of the Republic of Liberia to create a room for to excel our processes. Because if we have to build a hospital and the procurement process will stay 5 years, then we are in trouble. This is why during our meeting with the World Bank, I said, we want to join you. But if your project is going to be 5 years, then we have no interest. Because I have to perform to stay here. So if you give me a 5-year project, then I'm telling the people that, well, I didn't do anything, just get me out. But we want to perform and continue the democratic trends by going a second term and then find someone to come again. So that you all are responsible. The bureau is here and we come to join now. You got to follow up and make sure that we call them every day. We be out there. Not on the neck, but just to remind them that we got work to do. Let us do the work. So thank you for coming over. Excellency.
Liberian President George Weah signed in the Memorandum of Understanding with the African Governance Initiative on Wednesday. Looming tension is said to be breeding in Rivers County over the alleged misappropriation of the county social development fund, with citizens at each other's throats. Recently, the county former Superintendent Zoka Daniels alleged that $18,000 was extracted from the county's coverts to fund the campaign of the Unity Party during the 2017 elections. The opposition Unity Party Rivers branch has given a 24-hour ultimatum to Elijah Kasani, head of the County Project Management Committee, to clarify issues surrounding the county money or face legal action. The UP ultimatum is in reaction to an allegation made by former Superintendent Zoka Wilson Daniels that the amount of $18,000 was taken from the county coffers to support the presidential bid of Joseph Boakai. Speaking to our correspondent Aaron Gisid in the county, the Unity Party Resources Chairman Sando Jala said Mr. Kasani is well placed to explain the sticky issues surrounding the superintendent's allegation.
This has been the center of the discussion, particularly back in Resources, which of course the chairman of the Unity Party in person, Mr. Sando Jala, said the allegation was untrue. And then on yesterday, when the Senator Dallas A.V. Goer, who was then campaign chair of the Unity Party or the presidential base of Ambassador Boakai in Rivers, as appeared on OKFN, he said at no time an amount was given. But then in the former superintendent allegation, there were two people who he particularly linked to this entire financial issue. And they are the Senator Dallas Goer and Elijah Sarah's Kilsini. And Senator Goer has come out to clarify. And then when it comes to the spending of the money, according to Mr. Jara, it is Elijah, the PMC, the Project Management Committee, is one responsible for that. So since he is the head of the committee, it is his responsibility, because the superintendent has come up, made any comment about this issue. So according to Mr. Jara, says Mr. Kilsini is the head of the PMC. There is a need that he give account, financial documents, whether money was given to Unity Party or not, money was given to George Samuel Gibbons Smith or not, because these are all allegations. So he should come out to provide financial documents. If not, we'll surely take legal action against him.
Aaron Gizi, they are reporting from Rivers County. Students of the Phoebe Community Lutheran High School in Swakopmund County continued their protest action on Wednesday in demand of administrative change. The students who locked the defense of the school early Tuesday morning said their action is based on several factors, including the entry of a native doctor into the school compound to perform a traditional charm. Our Bond County correspondent is Melvin Stewart. He has the detail.
They are calling on these individuals to relinquish their post on grounds that they had earlier come here with a native doctor to perform some native activities here in the absence of the student community, in the absence of the leadership of the students here on Phoebe campus. This all started some 4-5 months ago when the students were on a break, and there is a laboratory set up here, computer lab. It's been set up here by an individual to help revamp the students' knowledge in IT technology and whatever. And unknown men broke into the compound of the Phoebe Community Lutheran High School and made away with 20 pieces of laptop computers. And according to a report, the administration had gone to find means as to who are those responsible for this action. So they have gone about looking for native title to come and bury some level of native items here in the compound of the Phoebe Community Lutheran High School to bring to book those responsible for the missing items. So this native title had come and performed his job and had left. It was less than a week ago, according to the student president, Stanley Sigby. It was just a week ago when they noticed that this medicine is on the compound of the school, and this is a dangerous substance for the lives of these kids whose parents have sent them here to acquire some level of secondary education. So they have asked the administration on grounds that this is not good for the health, especially for the doctrine of the Lutheran Church in Liberia. There is need that they get this medicine off ground to give sanity to the school campus and the students as well, including some of the administrative staff and the teaching staff as well. So there is the issue on ground now. Since yesterday, the gate of the fence are being locked by the students. They have in possession the keys of the gate, and in fact, administration has no grounds now to enter this fence.
OKFM's Bond County correspondent Melvin Stewart. The superintendent of the Monrovia Consolidated School System, Adolphus Jacobs, has challenged the General Auditing Commission report that discovered ghost names on MCS's payroll. Speaking to OK News Wednesday, the superintendent outlined several factors that led to his disagreement with the report. According to him, the GSA report has lapses in it which MCSS should not be held responsible for.
The GSA report has some information in it that are authentic with regards to some of the lapses, like in any other agencies and sectors. Ours is no exception. We have our own internal wrangling in terms of lapses, which should not be the case, but they're not detrimental to the system. Now, the idea that ghost people existed, some of the information not true. I was surprised that there will be anyone on our payroll to be considered a ghost. So what we did was we filtered through the report. We told the GSE that there was error in the report. But again, when the GSE does its work, they don't listen anymore. They think they're perfect, but they are not infallible. They do make mistakes. So what we did was to carry a lady who they claim was on the payroll for 26 months. She's still living and working the system. That was a big error. So we took the lady to the PAC hearing at Capitol Hill and show the body living witness of the person who they consider to be dead, still alive and working. So that's part of the errors. But again, we rely on the GSE report to do our work in terms of where we are not, what we're not doing right, where our errors and our mistakes. We look forward to these kind of reports, but where there are errors, they need.
Superintendent Jacobs also clarified that the 6,000 teachers will not be recruited from Nigeria, as was misinterpreted by many Liberians.
Well, my understanding, I think the president made a pronouncement based on the information provided to him by the Ministry of Education. It had to do with our capacity gap, teachers' capacity or teacher quality. The assessment shows that we need 6,000 teachers, qualified teachers in our classrooms. Now, that was just our capacity gap. The president's effort to narrow the gap or work on that problem was to engage stakeholders in and out of the country to see what could be done. Not necessarily to bring in bodily 6,000 people into the country. That was not our understanding. Our understanding was to address the capacity gap. So that capacity gap could be people in our country already willing to be trained to beef up the 6,000 gap that is need to be addressed, or solicit help in how that issue can be addressed. So we were now of the understanding that they were going to package or process 6,000 people to bring them into the country to add on the number we have. I don't think that was our understanding. I think
Adolphus Jacobs is the superintendent of the Monrovia Consolidated School System. South African ambassador to Liberia, Nati Sifumba, has arrived in northern Liberia and is holding talks with officials of Lofa County on how to improve development in that county. According to a report, the South African ambassador's visit is also meant to establish problems affecting the people of Lofa so as to find an amicable solution. Our correspondent in the county, Johnson Nopela, said Ambassador Sifumba has meanwhile identified deforestation as something that government should give key attention to in order to avoid future environmental problems.
The South African ambassador to Liberia entered Lofa County yesterday to hold a series of discussions with the county administration with respect to the status of the county and some of those areas that the county intends to look at in terms of projects, looking at the area of health, looking at the area of education, looking at the area of empowerment, both youth and women, so that they too can, in their own long-term, give their own advice and support in the future when necessary. So the discussions were held for almost 3 hours at the office of the county superintendent, where you had the development superintendent was there, all officials of the county as well was there, and he's also heading for all part of the county where he'll be carrying on some of his observation. And one of them he observed, according to him, during his travel from Banga to Lofa County, the issue about deforestation,
think that's something that the government, through this county administration, should be thinking about in the nearby future, so that as companies are operating in the county, selling down trees, should be thinking about reforestation to avoid future embarrassment, and also the encroachment of savanna in the county.
Tell us, what do people of Lofa stands to benefit from this meeting by the South African ambassador?
Well, like I said, this visit of the South African ambassador, according to him, is also to assess the entire county and also draw his map, and in the future where the need for intervention in terms of help in the different sectors in the county, then that which he can forward to his own country.
Johnson Nopala is OKFM's Lofa County correspondent. The national chairman of the Patriotic Entrepreneurs of Liberia has disclosed that the executive order passed about President Weah to drop the penalty on containers and pay customs duties in Liberian dollars has been undermined. Speaking during a press conference, the head of Patel, Dominic Nimle, told reporters that APM Terminus has refused to live up to the president's mandate. Dominic Nimlen complained that it is not the first time that APM Terminus is defying the orders from government, noting that they also refused to comply with the past government that employ Liberians by 50% in the first 5 years.
When we went to the president, we told the president that the first thing we told the president, we're not going to spoil his name here. The first thing we told him, we needed RPD from Commerce Management, and we couldn't get it. The president said, "You're sure?" We told him yes. And we told him we're going to reduce rice price to $12.50 or $12. He said, "If y'all get it RPD, you're going to do it." We said yes. And the president went right ahead of ration tablet, and we were given the RPD. Now, I simply trying to say that he gave ears to his people. APM Terminal refused to implement the president order. All my business people that input from China, because it was Chinese commodity, we took the complaint to the president on. Manatama implemented her side. They refused. APN Terminal refused. And this is not APN Terminal first time. I have another complaint on APN Terminal here. APN Terminal first contract was the agreement from Manasari government. The first contract, in the first 5 years, they saw to employ Liberian 50%. They haven't done that. The first thing they did, when the president got into power, brought into the new labor minister, they downsized 17 Liberians for no reason, because those Liberians were pleading for the well-being of Liberians that were working for APN Terminal. And the labor minister ordered them immediately to reinstate those people. They asked them to give 1 week. Up to present, some of those people still bringing complaints here to our office.
At the same time, the Patel Hill has called on the Liberian customs to use the GAT system that is widely used around the world and graduate from using the 1957 Act.
We've been making a lot of complaints. One have to do with the current custom or law that the Liberian custom using. Liberian custom still using the 1957 Act, which is the Brussels definition. They need to graduate from it. We're paying the ECOWAS penalty on every goods or commodity we import into this country.
Dominic Nimlan is the national chairman of the Patriotic Entrepreneurs of Liberia. He was speaking during a press conference on Wednesday. Just before we bring you our final local development, let's bring you a few batch of your comments you've left on our Facebook page last evening. George Xavier Nangwi says, "Good morning, OKFM, and good morning to the peace-loving people of Liberia. And let me use this medium to appreciate the Japanese government for such a beautiful and guaranteed road constructed on the Somalia Drive. It's my prayer that phase 2 of it be done as soon as possible to reduce the traffic on the Somalia Drive. As it relates to other issues, the world is coming to an end for true. The principle of all persons carried native doctored on a faith-based school campus. His action is not only scaring, but also anti-Christianity. He deserves immediate dismissal and be sued for his demonic act." Michael Think Positive Banner says, "It will be unfair on my part if I don't extend my gratitude to former President Salif for her kind gesture in implementing that great project to ease the traffic tension on citizens residing along the Somalia Drive road, and bravo to the country giant and the Japanese government for their tireless efforts." James Nakla Poso Fala says, he writes from Soniwan community, the county's officials of Rivers should understand that Ambassador Joseph Joma Boaka didn't take any fund from their cover, neither did he ask them for a cent. If the superintendent of Rivers County wants to buy sentiment from President Weah, let not Ambassador Boaka be used in his morning scandal. Just so you know, Joseph M. Boaka's record remains indelible and visible, and his character remains impeccable. And he writes from his slum community, there in Soniwan community. Nyamfor Due says, good morning, OKFM and the peace-loving people of New Georgia. Special thanks to the Japanese government for their tireless efforts in supporting the developmental agenda of their country. We look forward to receiving such gesture from other friendly countries. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Something great is about to happen in our country. Van Inconsistent Salib says, good morning, Newsnet. As a resident of Garnersville, which on the Somalia Drive, I am not only happy but grateful to the government and people of Japan for this road project. Before or during the construction of this road, there was always a huge traffic right from the supermarket to cross the Barnersville Junction. But since the partial opening of this road, Barnersville Junction is a freeway. Thank you so much, President Weah. We stand with you all the way. That is from Stephen Wilfrey. And Jane Apollo Magio says, let me begin this morning by thanking the Japanese government for the Somalia's Drive road project thus far, as this pavement will bring relief to hundreds of thousands pedestrians who commute this route daily. And let's bring you this final batch of stories here. The Liberia Commodity Regulatory Authority, LACRA, is expected to launch its Agriculture Day on Saturday, June 2, in Glembasa County. According to LACRA's Deputy Director Musa Kanan, the launch of LACRA Day is intended to motivate farmers to invest mostly in the agriculture sector in the country.
We are doing what we will call the Lagrat Agriculture Day, and the Lagrat Agriculture Day will be launched on this coming Saturday in Grand Bassa County. What will be happening is to motivate farmers across the country to see the need to go into the agro-sector or in agriculture. So we, as an agriculture-related entity, on Saturday, we will be launching the Agriculture Day, and the Agriculture Day will also see workers of LAGRA, work from the central office. So we will be taking our workers from Morovia to Grand Bassa County on the launch of the LAGRA Day, and all of the workers, including myself, will be involved by planting crops that are short-term crop.
Musa Karen is LACRA's Deputy Director. Just before we turn it over for the international news, let's bring you this final batch of comments. Afre Okilo Suarez says, the pavement of Somalia Highway is an initiative of the formidable Unity Party government and not this propo government. Jens read them. Yankwa Miller says, I'm calling on the Lutheran school system to with immediate effect dismiss that principal who ordered such action. This is a church institution and such thing is unacceptable. Austin King Sharp says, good morning. Those involved in the misappropriation of the county's social development funds should be brought to justice. The culture of impunity must stop. Propo government, that's the name here, says, good morning to the peace-loving people of Foya District, Lofa County. Let me use this medium to appreciate the Japanese government for the level of commitment made to the Liberian people. I believe that this road project will contribute immensely to the fastest movement of traffic, and its economic gain cannot be overemphasized. Let's rejoin Olive Stevenson, who is pre-seated to bring us the international news.
It's a year on since the gruesome murder of Major Maxwell Adam Muhammad, who was killed by some residents of Denwara Obuasi in the central region who mistook him for a robber and launched him, resulting to his death. He was clobbered